These are 10 times when Quagmire was the victim in Family Guy. You may think these moments will be hard to find due to his apparent dark side, but you'll be surprised to know sometimes he's the one being humble, like in the episode Herpes the Love Sore. The trios become the town's laughing stock. Alright, so Peter finds this package on his doorstep. It's addressed to Quagmire. But let's be honest, that's not stopping him. Curiosity gets the best of Peter, and he tears it open to find a whip.
I'm gonna open the box. Ah, sweet, it's a whip!
Now, the right thing would be to take it next door, but Peter can't resist. He's got a new toy and decides it's time to play, much to everyone's horror. First, he tries whipping a cigarette out of Meg's mouth, because that's safe, right?
Stay still! Ah! Okay, that's pretty cool too.
Hey, Dad, that's a cool whip. Ah, I thought you couldn't understand me!
Come on, even Stewie? Next, he uses it on an unsuspecting crowd at a concert. Ah!
Whip it good!
I'm doing my very best!
Thanks, that was way too much heat on my neck.
Then drops by Cleveland's place, who luckily got a heads up from Joe about Peter's whipping spree.
Grape soda, Graham.
I know this is very risky, but the upside is so good, I'm taking it.
Acting like a wannabe Indiana Jones. Then comes the real trouble. Peter, Quagmire, and Joe head to the Drunken Clam to relax in their favorite booth, only to find it taken over by some rough-looking guys who clearly aren't moving. Quagmire tries to get their spot back, but these guys shut him down hard. Peter and his buddies are practically chased away from their own booth and left feeling totally humiliated.
Excuse me. Hey, fellas. Hey, listen, this is a little awkward, but you guys are sitting in our booth.
But it gets worse. The news spreads fast. Suddenly, Quagmire's flight crew won't take him seriously.
I heard what happened to you with the Drunken Clam. I'm not doing what you tell me to do. I'll do what he tells me to do.
Joe's wife gives him the cold shoulder.
I heard about what happened at the Clam, and I'm not interested in having sex with a quarter of a man.
And Chris even take over as the man of the house.
Everybody heard about what happened over at the Clam and how those guys made you their bitch.
Okay.
Our guys, usually quahogs alpha males in their minds, are now the town's official laughing stock. Enter Lois, who's had enough. She tells Peter they need to reclaim their pride and their booth.
I want you to march down to the Clam right now and get your booth back.
Oh my God, Lois, you're right.
Feeling pumped up, Peter, Quagmire, and Joe march back into the Clam, ready for a showdown. They get into a brawl, but predictably, the fight is brutal, and they don't exactly come out on top.
And this might be the stupidest thing I've ever done, but...
Oh, now you're gonna get it.
As things look hopeless, Peter launches into a dramatic speech about all the important moments he's had in that booth. He claims he witnessed everything from his kids' conceptions to major historical events right there in that booth.
Hell, I witnessed every significant historical event in my lifetime right here. I was in this booth when the Challenger exploded.
But just as it seems like he might actually win the crowd over, the tough guys reveal they're soldiers, about to ship out on deployment. This wins them applause from everyone at the Clam, and Peter, Quagmire, and Joe are left humiliated yet again. To add salt to the wound, Mayor West even declares the day in honor of the soldiers.
With his head, I salute you.
Everyone, I declare this to be these three guys' day, and not these three guys' day.
As for Quagmire, he's left once more as the reluctant sidekick, watching Peter's antics backfire spectacularly and wondering why he always ends up dragged along for the ride. In the episode Teagues for Two, Peter loses his favorite white shirt at the dry cleaner. He accuses the cleaner of stealing it and, despite Lois's urging to apologize, refuses to back down.
Hey, I think you forgot my shirt.
There's no shirt.
Well, no, I know you have my white shirt. Can you check again?
No need check. I know I have your shirt.
Peter escalates by breaking into the cleaner's home, finding a white shirt he thinks is his, only for the cleaner to confront him with a gun. After trying on the shirt, which is too small, Peter refuses to give it up. A fight breaks out, ending with Peter's arrest. While Brian waits to bail Peter out, he meets Denise, a liberal activist arrested for protesting a Walmart. Brian, smitten, tries to impress her, but she's only mildly interested.
I'm Denise.
I'm Brian. Hey, would you mind if I asked for your number? Who knows, maybe we could get arrested together.
Sure, I'd like that.
Brian, desperate, asks Quagmire for advice on how to win her over. That's when Quagmire gets dragged into the chaos. Quagmire agrees to give Brian a crash course in his technique for picking up women, but with one important disclaimer: his methods aren't about building relationships, they're about getting laid.
All right, time to practice what we've learned. You're up, Brian. Now go hit on that fat chick.
What? Why?
Do it or you get an F.
But Brian, ignoring this, dives into Quagmire's tactics, which predictably make things worse with Denise. Frustrated, Brian blames Quagmire for his failure and storms off, dismissing everything Quagmire taught him as useless.
Okay, you know what? I'm gonna go.
Why, you getting more moles put on?
You know, I came here because I thought I'd made a mistake by not giving you a chance, but it's obvious you're just another typical jerk.
Denise, wait!
Then, just when Quagmire thinks he's free of the situation, Brian takes things up a notch. He decides to show Quagmire how effective his advice was by going after Quagmire's own lost love, Cheryl Teagues. Quagmire is horrified as he watches Brian try to woo Cheryl, feeling completely powerless. Cheryl was the one that got away for Quagmire, and seeing her with Brian is like salt in an open wound. To make matters worse, Brian treats Cheryl poorly, flaunting his success and rubbing it in Quagmire's face. It's the ultimate betrayal. Later, the situation reaches a boiling point when Brian and Quagmire run into each other at a restaurant. Brian with Cheryl and Quagmire with Brian's ex, Jillian.
Wait, who's the fourth?
Oh, my new girlfriend. Here she is.
Jillian?
The two of them engage in a verbal showdown, each accusing the other of using people as pawns. Brian mocks Quagmire's manipulative ways, and Quagmire throws it right back, pointing out Brian's hypocrisy. The heated exchange ends with both women leaving, disgusted by the childish fight.
Cheryl, wait!
Jillian!
I'm sorry! I'll do anything, please!
Outside, Quagmire and Brian exchange a few begrudging words, realizing they've both stooped to ridiculous levels.
I'm no saint. I dated Jillian just to hurt you.
It's okay. It probably wouldn't have worked out like everything else.
But just as Brian thinks they're on the verge of friendship, Quagmire offers him a ride home, only to pull forward and slam the brakes, sending Brian flying into the street. Quagmire drives off, leaving Brian bruised and humiliated. Not cool, Quagmire. After all the manipulation and backstabbing, it's Quagmire who ends up once again as the ultimate victim, left alone with the reminder of what he's lost. Brian never learns, and in the episode titled Brian the Closer, he rips off Quagmire. Peter, being the catalyst of this episode, finds Brian's old rope toy wedged in the couch. Brian goes into full "my precious" mode, obsessing over it to the point of madness. Peter, never one to back down from a pointless competition, gets jealous and decides he must have the rope for himself.
Come on, Brian, I need this rope in case I open a nautical-themed restaurant.
So, in true Peter fashion, he ties it to his car and drives off, dragging poor Brian along until he lets go, sending him flying straight into a fire hydrant. Result? Brian loses all his teeth and ends up with a broken nose. Not your best plan, Peter.
Damn it, Peter, what were you thinking? This has to be the stupidest thing you've ever done.
With his smile wrecked, Brian is miserable, but Lois refuses to pay for new teeth, pointing out that Brian is just an animal.
You gotta take me to the dentist to get my mouth fixed.
Brian, we can try to make you feel a little less repulsive, but we're not spending human money on a deformed animal.
What?
Thanks, Lois. Drowning his sorrows at the drunken clam, Brian starts crying again, and Quagmire reluctantly gives him his dentist's number.
What is this?
That's my dentist. He'll bill me. I've got an account.
When Brian returns, he's sporting a brand new smile, and to everyone's surprise, he's pulling it off.
Oh my God, look at your teeth!
Soon he's mistaken for a real estate agent, and he decides to roll with it. Quahog Realty gives him a shot, and Brian starts selling houses left and right. Who knew a dog with a fresh set of teeth could close so many deals?
Look at that smile. You're a born salesman. You should come work for me.
Huh. Never thought I'd be in real estate.
Brian's real estate gig even leads him to sell a lovely cliffside property to Bonnie and a prime Lakeview home to none other than Jason Voorhees. Things escalate when his boss challenges him to sell a rundown condo that's been sitting on the market for years. Enter Quagmire, who's just scored a bonus and is Brian's perfect target. Brian lays it on thick, telling Quagmire that a hated rival pilot is eyeing the property, and Quagmire takes the bait, buying the dump.
Hey, what you want? But he's got an eye for real estate. Let me just give him a call and let him know he's gonna get the place.
Wait. Okay, I'll take it.
But when Quagmire sees the condo, he realizes he's been played.
the hell? This is a dump!
Well, maybe it's still got a nice ocean view.
The harbor is poisoned.
Furious, he storms over to Quahog Realty to cancel the sale, only to find that Brian is conveniently unavailable for 72 hours, the exact time needed for the cancellation clause to expire.
They're gone.
Well, for the next 72 hours, I'm gonna be harder to find than a nice cat.
After tracking him to a motel, Quagmire confronts Brian, who tries a heart-to-heart, confessing that Quagmire's the only one who ever calls him out on his crap.
That's why you've been hiding from me in this motel? Now let me out of this deal and give me my money back.
Look, if you're not happy with your current property, we could roll your money over into something in Sinkhole Estates. You're honest and direct and compassionate, and that is 72 hours. Enjoy your crap hole, dumb.
But it's all a ruse to outlast the 72 hours. Enraged, Quagmire smashes Brian's teeth out with a lamp, putting an end to both Brian's real estate career and his perfect smile.
You son of a...
In the episode, Brian's a bad father. The Griffins seem to not want to leave you alone, Quagmire. And this time, Quagmire is the unlucky victim of Peter's idiotic antics. It all starts when Peter, Quagmire, and Joe head out on a hunting trip.
Well, maybe I can stir up some quail or pheasant with my patented bird calls.
Now, you'd think a simple rule would apply here. Don't point a gun at your friend. But apparently, that's beyond Peter, who decides to play around with his rifle's safety switch. And yep, he shoots Quagmire right in the arm. Classic Peter. Quagmire's reaction completely justified frustration and a new layer of resentment for Peter.
Oh!
Quite the difference, huh?
Damn it, Peter, you son of a bitch! You shot me!
Oh my God, Peter, that might be the dumbest thing you've ever done.
Later, Quagmire confronts Peter about his accident back at the bar, where Peter barely apologizes. He acts as though Quagmire's overreacting, brushing off the entire thing like it's no big deal. But Quagmire's had it. He gives Peter a well-deserved piece of his mind, Quagmire. This friendship is over. This is the moment where Quagmire shines as a character.
Damn it, Peter, that's it! I am done! I'm done with you! I'm done with all your crap! I never want to speak to you again! This friendship is over!
And then, because this is Family Guy, Peter's desperate to make it up to Quagmire, but in the most Peter-like way possible, by suggesting that Quagmire shoot him in the arm to even the score. But what does Quagmire do? He takes him up on it. You'd think Peter would have seen this coming, but nope. He's genuinely shocked. Just as things get chaotic, Joe intervenes, only to shoot Peter himself.
It's over. We're all friends again.
What the hell, Joe?
Quagmire. That's a little too far. In the end, Quagmire does make peace with Peter after that shot made him mentally disabled. But let's be honest.
Peter, I'm so glad you patched things up with your friends.
Have I told you that we're all friends again?
Yes, Peter, we were just talking about it.
They're gonna take me to the zoo and roll me around. We're all friends again.
Peter is still that guy who causes trouble and then shrugs off the damage. For Quagmire, it's another day in Quahog being the victim of Peter's antics, yet somehow still sticking around for the next disaster. In the episode Hijacking a Plane, Peter doesn't seem to end the parade on Quagmire's life. Peter's latest obsession, becoming a true redneck thanks to a life-changing redneck comedy festival. Armed with a pickup truck, he embraces every redneck stereotype he can find, right down to a massive anti-abortion decal that blocks his rear window.
Peter, you painted over the back window. Isn't that dangerous?
Genius, Peter. And naturally, it's only a matter of time before his new lifestyle claims its first victim, Quagmire's car. Peter backs his truck right into it, totaling it just as Quagmire needs to head out for work.
Oh, I can drive you. I got a pickup truck, see?
Well, come on!
Now, with his car out of commission, Quagmire has no choice but to rely on Peter for a ride to the airport where he's scheduled to pilot a commercial flight.
All right, thanks a lot, Peter.
But things go from bad to worse. Spotting the jet fuel for Quagmire's plane, Peter decides it'll work just as well in his truck and siphons it right out. Predictably, this leads to an in-flight fuel shortage, and Quagmire's plane crash lands in a fiery emergency.
That was too close.
Sir, we have a confirmed crash. Flight 37 is down.
Well, we'd better alert the mayor. I'll have to interrupt his photo op.
The result? Quagmire's out of a job, blacklisted by the airline, and left without any savings.
Well, what are you gonna do now, Quagmire?
Hey, it's all right. I got enough in my savings until I find another job. I'll be fine.
With no other options, he's forced to move in with the Griffins, much to Lois's frustration.
Oh, hey, Peter. Hey, Lois.
Glenn, what are you doing up there?
Oh, I kind of moved in, if that's okay.
Peter doesn't seem to notice the chaos he's caused, but Lois has had enough. She gives Peter an ultimatum: help Quagmire find a job or deal with the fallout.
Peter, you and I need to talk about Quagmire. He's been living with us for over a month, and I think it's enough now.
Cue Peter's job search help. Quagmire's attempts at various gigs are, of course, a disaster, and he finally admits that the only thing he's ever been truly good at is flying.
Dude, you gotta introduce me to that black chick.
But thanks to his crash landing, no airline will even consider him. In order to help him, Peter, Cleveland, and Joe dress up as fake flight attendants, board a commercial flight, and drug the pilots midair, expecting Quagmire to step in and save the day. Peter, you overlooked one thing. Quagmire isn't even on the flight. He's busy sweet-talking someone at the check-in desk. Peter and the others realize their plan has gone horribly wrong as the plane nosedives. Quagmire eventually catches wind of the situation, heads to the air traffic control tower, and manages to guide Peter in landing the plane safely.
I got a plane to land. All right, now do you see a button that looks like a drunken gay guy eyeing you from across the bar?
Yeah, I see it.
All right, press the button right above it.
As a reward, Quagmire finally gets his job back, but not without plenty of trauma along the way. Leave it to Peter to turn his friend's life upside down, all in the name of help.
Well, I couldn't have done it without you guys. You put yourselves on the line and you gave me my life back. I'll never forget that.
That's how friendship works, kinda. But this time it goes over and beyond. In the episode Halloween on Spooner Street, Halloween has come to Quahog, and for Peter and Joe, that means one thing: time to make Quagmire's life miserable. This year they go all out. First they bombard him with eggs, a classic move that leaves him looking like a human omelet.
Guys, be careful! This isn't my box!
Oh, yeah, sure. And whose is it?
And they don't stop there. Then Joe, showing true commitment, dresses up as a woman and tricks Quagmire into, well, let's just say Quagmire wakes up with a hangover and some serious regrets. But Peter and Joe are just getting warmed up. Next, they expose him to a mosquito from Senegal that carries a mysterious disease. Because apparently, in Quahog, biological warfare is fair game in Halloween pranks. Despite being humiliated, tricked, and potentially infected, Quagmire somehow manages to laugh it off. Peter is impressed and decides his buddy deserves a drink. They head out together, and after a few rounds, they spot Joe on patrol and convince him to let them join his ride-along for the night. Joe reluctantly agrees, but makes one thing clear: they have to stay in the car and not cause any trouble. Not that Peter or Quagmire are great at following rules.
Hey, I got a great idea. How about we ride around with you and steal beer from teenagers?
I don't know, you guys. This is my job, and I can't have you fooling around getting into trouble.
Soon enough, the ride gets derailed when they arrive at an old airfield. Quagmire's eyes light up as he spots a Mitsubishi Zero, a vintage Japanese fighter plane from World War II. And that's when the tables start to turn. Deciding it's payback time, Quagmire puts on his Japanese heritage act, even though he's clearly not Japanese, and convinces Peter and Joe to hop in the plane. He takes them on a ride they'll never forget. Pulling insane stunts in the sky, he eventually dives straight toward the ocean, stopping just inches before they hit the water. Peter and Joe are practically paralyzed with fear, and Quagmire finally gets his revenge, all while keeping a straight face. Payback never looks so sweet.
You guys want to go for a ride?
Sure.
Hell yeah! Quagmire, what the hell's the matter with you?
What are you, nuts?
Shut up, round.
What the hell was that?
Pranks on you. I'm not Japanese!
But even with his small victory, it's clear that Quagmire had a rough night. From eggings to unwanted romance to a literal disease, he went through the Halloween ringer. And while he might have turned the tables at the end, the day was still a disaster, thanks to his so-called friends. Luckily for him, this time round, it wasn't any of his friends. In the episode Quagmire's Quagmire, it starts innocently enough. Peter and Joe take Quagmire to the mall to pick out a new computer, but
guy said it's the newest version. Just came out this week.
Yeah, good call, Quagmire. You're gonna be like the first guy in the neighborhood to own a Model T.
Things quickly spiral when Quagmire, struggling to navigate his new laptop, calls Peter for help finding his photos.
I know, I'm sorry. I'm just nervous that somebody else is going to get pictures of their cat on the internet first, and then I'll always be known as the second guy to get pictures of his cat on the internet.
His computer crashes, and Quagmire brings it in for repairs, only to meet Sonia, a tech clerk with an, unique taste in online content. Sparks fly, and the two go on a date, bonding over their shared interests. But when Quagmire wakes up the next morning, he's handcuffed to the bed and realizes Sonia drugged him. For Quagmire, this isn't a red flag. It's love at first restraint.
Oh my God! You roofied me?
Are you mad?
No. I'm in love.
Quagmire boasts about Sonia at the Drunken Clam, but Peter and Joe are concerned. They warn him to be careful, but Quagmire brushes it off, convinced Sonia is the perfect match.
Geez, you changed your relationship status already?
When you know, you know.
All right, but just be careful. You know, you don't want to rush an important decision.
Things escalate when Quagmire ends up reluctantly fulfilling Sonia's more extreme fantasies, including a disturbing scene involving his father. Ida, skip. When Peter and Joe notice Quagmire's black eyes, they know Sonia is taking things too far. Quagmire insists everything's fine, not wanting to risk her overhearing.
Yeah, it seems like lately that girlfriend of yours is taking things a little too far.
No, she's not. Everything's great with us.
But as soon as he leaves the bar, Sonia ambushes him, shoves him in his own car trunk, and drives off, claiming she's just playing out his domination fantasy. You gotten yourself in a real mess.
Oh, I'm gonna clean out your trunk. Giggity.
That's my word. That's my word!
Days pass without any sign of Quagmire, prompting his friends to worry. Even Ida shows up at Peter's door, concerned about her son.
Hi, Peter. I'm a little worried about Glenn. I haven't heard from him in days. Have you seen him?
Realizing something is seriously wrong, Peter, Joe, and the gang begin searching for him, eventually hearing rumors about Sonia's kinky side and finding her storage unit. Inside, they discover Quagmire, beaten, gagged, and suspended in Sonia's makeshift BDSM dungeon. But before they can rescue him, Sonia arrives and grabs Joe's gun.
Everybody just shut up! You idiots should have minded your own business.
This is our business. You kidnapped our friend. You're going to jail.
Joe manages to approach her, and when Sonia pulls the trigger, the gun doesn't fire. Joe, in his calmest moment ever, reveals that he keeps it unloaded after a previous breakdown. Nice one, Joe. He tackles her, saving Quagmire just in time.
Oh my God, Joe, that was so close! How'd you know the gun would jam?
It didn't jam, Peter. The gun was never loaded.
Back at the Drunken Clam, a bruised and exhausted Quagmire reflects on the ordeal, deciding that moving forward, he'll be the one calling the shots in his relationships. And, in true Quagmire fashion, he ends the conversation by announcing the most disturbing thing you'll hear today. My dad says he's pregnant.
My dad told me he's pregnant.
That wasn't the last time he's been in trouble with a woman. In the episode, The Giggity Wife, the trio decide to live it up and hit Harvard's campus for a night out, courtesy of Joe's stolen student ID. What could go wrong? A lot, apparently.
Hey, why do you have a Harvard dining hall ID?
I pulled over some punk Harvard kid who gave me a bunch of lip, so I took his ID.
They party like college freshmen, and when Quagmire wakes up the next morning, he's not alone. Lying next to him is Charmise, an elderly prostitute he accidentally married.
Oh no. You mean?
That's right, baby. As of last night, we're man and wife.
Quagmire just went from bachelor to newlywed with someone who's the same age as Queen Elizabeth, R.I.P. Let's say experience. And she's not letting go of her hubby anytime soon. Poor Quagmire's off to a rocky start, and Charmise is about as charming as a cactus.
This is just what I've always wanted, to settle down, find a husband, and live the married life. And now I got that.
After realizing he's in way too deep, Quagmire tries to back out, thinking maybe a quick divorce will save him, but Joe, ever the realist, points out that divorce laws favor the wife, meaning Quagmire could lose everything.
Well, to be honest, if you divorce her, she'll probably get everything you have.
What? Oh, that's impossible.
So now our boy Quagmire is stuck with Charmise. Sheesh. The poor guy tries to make the best of it, but Charmise's romantic efforts include some seriously low standards. This is one dream girl he wishes would wake up and leave.
Yeah, and we should go now. I just stuffed everything back into place.
You know, Charmise, I don't really think I'm in the mood.
What?
Desperate to escape, Quagmire hatches a wild plan. If Charmise thinks he's gay, maybe she'll call it quits. Seems foolproof, right? Wrong. When she catches him watching straight Charmise isn't convinced.
Damn it, Glenn, if you're not gay, then the divorce is off.
In fact, she won't agree to a divorce unless Quagmire can prove he's gay by having sex with a man. Charmise wants front row seats to the show.
What?
You heard me. I want to see you get it on with a guy.
Glenn. And who does Quagmire approach for help? You guessed it, good old Peter. Peter reluctantly agrees, but insists on a romantic date first, because apparently dinner is essential for this kind of thing.
Charmise won't give me a divorce because she doesn't believe I'm gay. So, I need you to have sex with me while she watches. Peter, can we just get out of here? I want to get this over with.
This was part of the deal, Quagmire. I need this to be a lovely evening.
Fine.
Fast forward to the big night, and things are awkward, to say the least. With Charmise watching, Quagmire and Peter attempt to convince her. They cringe, they sweat, and they awkwardly pretend to be into it. This is painful to watch. Just as they're about to cross a line neither of them can unsee, Charmise steps in, putting an end to the charade. She's finally realized Quagmire is definitely not gay, and if he's willing to go to such extremes, maybe it's time to set him free.
What are you saying?
I'm saying I'll give you your divorce. You're off the hook.
Oh, thank you, Charmise. Thank you so much.
In a rare act of kindness, Charmise grants Quagmire the divorce, saying she doesn't want to be anyone's burden. Turns out Quagmire treated her better than any man she's ever met, so she lets him go. Quagmire breathes a sigh of relief, grateful to be free from his accidental marriage. But just when he thinks he's off the hook, Peter notices something. The laptop camera has been recording the whole performance. Back at the Griffin household, the entire family watches in horror as Peter and Quagmire's date night plays on screen, with Stewie casually asking if they're watching Glee.
What are we watching? Glee?
As disgusting as that was, at least he was treating her right, unlike in Season 10's episode Screams of Silence. Peter's idea was to go on a fishing trip with Quagmire and Joe. Only one problem, Quagmire doesn't show up. So, like any good friends, they decide to check on him at his house, where they discover him unconscious after a failed autoerotic asphyxiation attempt. Yes, really.
Peter, he's still alive. We gotta get him to a hospital.
They rush him to the hospital, where his sister, Brenda, arrives, along with her boyfriend, Jeff. Enter Jeff, the obnoxious, abusive disaster of a boyfriend who treats Brenda like garbage right in front of everyone.
Glenn, don't die from autoerotic asphyxiation. Your friends want to go fishing with you.
What an awfully predictable song. After an uncomfortable night, Quagmire can't take it anymore and asks Lois to have a heart-to-heart with Brenda.
I've tried talking to Brenda about leaving him, but I haven't gotten anywhere. I was actually hoping you could talk to her, Lois. She might open up more to you, because you're a woman.
Lois agrees, and over lunch, she tries to convince Brenda to leave Jeff. But when Brenda removes her sunglasses, revealing a nasty bruise, Lois realizes the situation is worse than she thought.
You know, you don't have to stay with a man who treats you that way.
Oh, Jeff's sweet. You don't see how soft and gentle he hits me when we're alone.
Brenda, however, insists Jeff's really sweet once you look past the punches. Seriously, Brenda? Sweet. Lois is rightfully horrified. Meanwhile, Peter, Joe, and Quagmire brainstorm about how to handle Jeff. Joe, being a cop, points out they can't arrest him unless Brenda files a formal complaint, which she's too afraid to do, so they plan an intervention to help her see the truth. During the intervention, Quagmire opens up, admitting that he misses the sister he grew up with, the one who wasn't Jeff's personal punching bag. The emotional moment is promptly ruined by Jeff's arrival, who interrupts to announce that Brenda is pregnant and they're getting married. Your nightmare just keeps getting worse.
Jeff and I are getting married. I'd show you the ring, but it's under the splint. My finger fell down the stairs.
You're getting married?
Yeah, but only 'cause she's pregnant.
Pregnant?
With no other options left, Peter, Joe, and Quagmire discuss a drastic solution, killing Jeff. Joe initially objects, arguing it's still murder no matter how horrible Jeff is. But after Jeff punches Brenda simply for changing the TV channel, even Joe is convinced.
I'm so sorry.
His soft, gentle humor connects effortlessly with my mainstream sensibilities. Let's waste this dick.
They lure Jeff on a hunting trip, hoping to make it look like an accident. But naturally, Jeff's one step ahead and reveals he brought his own gun. He knocks out Peter and Joe, then drags Quagmire deeper into the woods to finish him off. Good luck with that, Jeff. Quagmire, in a final move, convinces Jeff to fight him like a man. The two brawl, with Quagmire appearing to be down for the count until he gets the beating of his life. But as Jeff digs a grave, Quagmire jumps into Peter's car and rams Jeff into a tree, killing him on the spot. Poor car. The trio returns home, telling Brenda that Jeff left her with a forged note as proof. Brenda, heartbroken but oblivious to the truth, believes it. With her abusive boyfriend gone, Quagmire finally gets a moment of peace, though he probably won't be watching any more clown porn anytime soon.
Wow. I guess he's really gone.
I kind of want to kill somebody else now. Oh, what?
This last moment will leave you shocked and speechless in the episode American Gigolo. Quagmire's nightmare begins when the airline pilots go on strike, leaving him jobless and desperate.
This is a mess. Like when Peter rode that Access Hollywood bus.
While he's on the picket line, he stumbles upon a bachelorette party where the guests mistake him for a stripper and throw cash his way. He's reluctant at first, but the money is just too good to resist. One impromptu dance later, and he's officially in the entertainment business.
Yeah! All right, who wants me to stow my bag under their seat?
It doesn't take long for Peter and the gang to notice Quagmire sneaking off at night. They follow him, and their jaws drop when they see him strutting his stuff at a strip club. Peter, in typical Peter fashion, accuses Quagmire of being a gigolo. Quagmire denies it until someone actually offers him cash for a private service.
Friend is about to get married, and we were wondering if you'd have sex with her for $500.
Turns out it's not just his dancing that's in demand, and pretty soon, he's taking on more than just strip routines. Poor Quagmire, he just wanted to make a quick buck, but now he's got ladies paying for the full experience.
Thanks for the ride. One of my tricks drove me here from the Clam, and I didn't have any money for a cab.
Why not? Didn't she just pay you for
No, after it was over, she said she wasn't gonna pay.
Well, that ain't fair.
Quagmire quickly realizes this new line of work isn't as glamorous as it seems, especially when one of his clients stiffs him and refuses to pay. With no cash for a cab, he calls Peter to pick him up. Peter, sensing an opportunity, helps by demanding payment from the woman. She caves, and Quagmire is so grateful he even offers Peter a cut. That's all Peter needs to hear to transform into Quagmire's new pimp. And let's be real, Peter as a pimp is as ridiculous as it sounds.
Hey, maybe you could drive me around and help me out, and I could even pay you a little something for your time.
Sure, that sounds great.
Things spiral from there. Peter, drunk on his new pimp power, starts booking Quagmire non-stop, pushing him to exhaustion. Even worse, Peter's clientele gets weirder by the day. When one particularly kinky customer insists on doing some German things that even Quagmire can't stomach, Peter finally steps in and realizes just how far he's pushed his friend. It's a rough moment, but Peter agrees to back off and just be friends again.
Still, I'm really sorry. Can you find it in yourself to forgive me, and maybe we can just go back to being friends?
I'd like that.
Just when Quagmire thinks he's in the clear, Peter reveals one final twist. The pilot strike ended a month ago. That's right, Quagmire could have returned to his job weeks ago, but Peter, in true Peter fashion, sent the news to the wrong email address. So not only did Quagmire endure weeks of questionable side gigs for nothing, but he didn't even have to quit his real job.
What? Why didn't you tell me?
I did. Are you still GlennQ10@AOL.com?
No.
Ah, well, there you go.
There's a lesson for everyone. Make your emails easier to understand.